Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Tal. I'm the technical manager for Provision SR. Today we're going to hold a webinar. It will touch the second part of the CMS, the technical part of the system architecture, and then we're going to touch the update to version 1.4.3 that is going to be released. So let's start with the presentation. The presentation for this yeah, okay, now you can see my screen. The presentation for this webinar has some animations in it, but from what I've seen so far, I don't think the WebEx platform is passing these animations. So what I suggest, first of all, I will try to draw the animations. Second, I suggest that you will watch this presentation again on your computers. I think you will have a better idea. And last of all, if you have any questions, please feel free to open your mic, and I will do my best to answer. Okay, so understanding the architecture of the enterprise platform. Okay, don't be afraid from all the text. I don't know who of you already installed the CMS, the enterprise version. From this point on, I'm only referring to the enterprise version. So I don't know who of you already installed it, but when you install it, you have actually two softwares. You have the server and the client. The server is built out of services. Okay, it looks something like this. Okay, a little bit like this. I also have it here. Okay. So we have here all the services that the enterprise version supports. Each server, of course, each of the services is important, but not all of them are crucial. For example, you can choose not to use some of them. So now we will discuss about each and every one of these services. Okay. We have the management server and the database server. Actually, they are working together. Sorry. Actually, they are working together. The management server is the main server. He's the one managing, like the name reflects. He's managing all of the platform. And the database server is actually the SQL server that holds all of the information. Well, excuse me, I have a little cough. I will try not to, but it's not really under my control. The database server, like I said, is the SQL server. It holds basically everything, all the rules, all the devices, all the users, user permissions, and so on. Everything is held on the database server, and actually both of them, they're working together. The configuration server is the server allowing you to perform remote configurations. Okay, this service is important, but it's not crucial, and only one of these services can be available. If it's offline, it means that you cannot perform any configuration from remote locations. You must connect to the server with computer screen and mouse and keyboard, and perform all the configuration locally. The HTTP server is actually the web client. I haven't shown it on the last webinar, but the web client, I will show how it looks. Okay, the web client looks something like this. Okay, this is my server, and now when I log in, I have three options, which is the monitor client, the configuration client, and the whole platform. If I'm not sure where I need to go, I can log into the platform, and here I can choose exactly which service I need for monitor client or for configuration. So if I disable this service, the HTTP server, it will not work anymore, the web client. It means that you must connect locally or through the PC client. Now, all of these servers are singular servers, meaning that only one of these servers can be available in the network. Now we get to the more advanced configurations. So first of all, let's understand. We have the transfer server. The transfer server is responsible for streaming all the videos from the devices to the clients, to the PC clients. Okay, we will see in a second that we can have more than one transfer server for a big system. For a CMS system, we can have more than one transfer server. Storage server is a server responsible for storage. Again, we can have more than one. And then we have the TV wall server. If we want to connect a lot of cameras to several TV monitors, we have the TV wall server. And then we need the decoder or a TV wall server hardware in order to do it. The analytics server is the server performing all the analytic tasks. Like I told you in our last webinar, the CMS can perform analytic tasks, for example, face recognition. So the analytics server is responsible for it. And the upper and lower cascade servers are for a really complicated installations is actually the ability for a big CMS platform to join to another CMS platform where there is more than one management server. But this is really on the high end, on the side of the installation. So now let's try to understand it. Okay. So for the system architecture, we have, for example, here the management server plus the media server. And what we need to understand is that the clients, they request, there is no animation, so what we need to do, I will try to draw it. Okay, so the clients, they ask the management server for permission to get the video. And once the permission is granted, we have the media server. So all the video from the devices will be streamed through the media server. Okay, something like this. The media server will stream all the videos from the devices to the media servers, to the clients. In this case, what happens? In this case, what happens? We have we need to have a good upload line on each one of the devices, and then we need a very good upload line for the media server, because from here we will have upload for only, for example, 16 channels, but here we will already have 64 channels, because 4 devices all will be streamed eventually through here. So what we can do here, okay, we can separate and we can use a media transfer server for each one of these devices. Okay, and now what happens? Now I think the animation is working. There is a video request from the management server. Now the video stream will pass through the media transfer servers to the clients. What we saved here, we saved the upload line on the management server. So we only need one good upload from each one of these locations to get the video to the clients. The last example I gave here is one. Let's say that the management server is installed on the cloud, and then we have one site with 4 NVRs or DVRs. So again, we have a video request. Now, all the video will be streamed through the single media transfer server. Okay. So this is a little bit about the architecture. The same idea goes for the storage server. Okay. So if we have an event, it will be stored on the storage servers. Okay. You will see now the video is being stored on the storage server. At the moment, there is no client watching these videos. They are just being stored on the storage server. And then if the client required to watch the video, the playback, it will go from the storage server through the media server to the clients. Okay? So for example, we have another example. The storage server is here, the media server is here. So this one will store the information, but once we will need a video, the video will be transferred through the media server. Okay? Okay, and last one, we have the storage and the media server here. Again, we have an alarm event. The video will go to the storage server. And once the client requires to view the playback, it will go through the media server. In this case, it is the same server. It will go through the media server directly through the clients. Okay, so this is all part of the architecture, and it is very important that you will understand it in order to know how to design your system once you go for a big project with the Ossia CMS. Okay, any questions up to here? Okay, I will demonstrate it in a few minutes, but just to be on the same side, on the safe side. Okay, here we have some system requirements. I will not go through it. If you have any questions, let us know. But this presentation, you already have it, so you can go through it. We have here the requirements for the servers, and we have the requirements for the clients, the PC clients. Okay. And then I'm not sure if we said, but in about Q3 of 2020, we're going to release dedicated hardware with the CMS, the Ossia CMS embedded on it. So we will have 3 types of hardwares. We will have the management servers. The management server, the idea behind it is, first of all, it will be cheaper than any server that you will find in the market with the same specifications. And second, we will be able to tell you exactly what are the capabilities of these servers, because the software will be embedded on it. So there is no really room to play. If you install some other softwares, of course, it will. If you take a normal server and you install those CMS, you might install some other softwares as well, which will have an impact on the Ossia CMS performance. In this case, because the Ossia CMS will be embedded on this server, there will be no choice for the user to install some third-party softwares. So the capability of the server will be the same throughout the time. The storage servers, again, we will have a storage server which is only a storage server, and we will have a storage server that will also include the management server inside. The storage servers will go from 16 to 48 hard drives. Of course, we will have RAID, hot swaps, smart management, and so on. So again, very good for projects and where you need a very long duration of recording. And we have the decoders. The idea behind the decoders is that you connect the decoder to your monitors, and then you reduce the load from your PC running the client. Because if you will check, you will see that decoding the video is one of the most resource-consuming operations that you do. So you take this operation of video decoding, and you pass it to an external hardware, which is the decoder. You're using the CMS. You tell the decoder, okay, I want to view these and these cameras on screen number 1, screen number 2. You will see that we have record the decoders, the simple ones, the standard ones. They are for 2 or 4 monitors. Of course, they can also serve as a TV wall server client. And we will have the professional decoders that will have 4, 12, up to 24 HDMI outputs. This is already for huge monitoring centers. And the last one is the keyboard. The keyboard can control the CMS as well as controlling hardware that is connected to the CMS, like PTZs and so on. Okay, all of this should be available in Q3 of 2020. Now, I would like to demonstrate some features of the CMS. Is everything here? Okay, so we have the CMS in front of us. I also have an NVR here. Okay, this is a NVR local interface. Oh, I'm talking here. Let me move here. I want to demonstrate maybe 3 things. We will start with the more interesting parts. I will go to event, because the next thing I want to show you is version 1.4.3. I want to prepare it. Okay, so now what I will do, we will go through event, analytics, face recognition. Now I will go to the database, and you will see that practically my database is empty. I have one group here called sync, but don't notice it. Now let's go back to the CMS. One of the things I told you in our prior webinar is that the CMS have the ability to manage NVR databases. Okay. So of course I need to add this NVR first. So I need to check. Got to check the IP of this NVR. Okay, 1, 2, 2. Okay. So now I will show you. When I want to add a device on the Enterprise, you will see that we have here all of the servers I told you about. Okay, so let's start with adding the device. 1, 2, 2. This is the device, and I want to add it to a group called Israel. And you can see here, like I explained, I can choose a transfer server and I can choose a storage server. Each device can be linked only to one transfer or to one storage server. You cannot link one device to 2 transfer servers or to 2 storage servers. Okay. So now I will add it. The password will be wrong. I need to fix the password here. While it connects, I want to show you. First of all, I don't want you to be afraid from the word server. Okay? If your capacity of bandwidth or users or devices is low, you don't really need a server. I mean, as a real server, the Xeon server that goes into a rack. This is my laptop. Okay? And in this laptop, I installed the server utility. Okay? And you can see here that I activated the transfer server service. Okay? You can see this is my computer, 192.168.0.113. And now what I can do, I can go here on the left side. I'm in the resource management, because even the servers are resources. And from here, I can go to the media transfer server. You can see this is the local server. And now I can add my computer to perform as a transfer server. You can see that because we are in the same LAN, it appears automatically. Now I can add it. We'll go here, it will become online in a few seconds. Okay, you can see now that we are online. And now if I want to add another device, now I have the ability to choose between two transfer servers. We have the integral transfer server built on the server, and we have my computer. So my computer can serve now as the media transfer server. Same goes for source server. Okay? Okay. Now let's go and understand the face recognition databases. Okay? So like I showed you here, I will show you again. We will go to the face recognition, and you can see here I have 4 groups. Allow list 1, allow list 2, block list. They're all empty, and we have a group called sync. Now, using the CMS, I will go face recognition. I will go to the face database management, and now I will create a new database. I will call it webinar, so it will be very clear this is what we are talking about. And now I will call it, I will say that this this group actually belongs to a face recognition NVR. Now I need to choose my my NVR. Since I didn't give any names, it's very hard to know. So I will go back to the resource management. I will click here on device settings. Under Israel, I will choose this one that doesn't have a name. I will give it a name. We'll also call it the webinar. Again, it will be very clear. Okay, so now the name changed. And again, I will go back to the face recognition. Database management. Again, right click here, add webinar. Now I'm saying this is a face recognition NVR. The NVR is called webinar. I need to assign it, this group, and save. Okay, you can see now that webinar has been added, and now it also said success. So now if I go back to the NVR and interface, you can see already that I have a new group here called webinar. This group was added through the CMS. Okay? And now what I can do, I can manage this group. Of course, I can add more than one group. Okay? I can add, for example, if we have a webinar host, me, I can also say the same thing, same device, save. Okay, we have webinar host success. And again, if I will go to the webinar, to the NVR, we have here webinar host. Okay. Now going back to the CMS, we can go to the search interface, and I can choose a channel. For example, I can choose a channel called main passage. I will search. Now I will get all of the pictures that the NVR, this NVR detected today. Okay, a lot of pictures. I will find for a minute. Okay, this is me. Don't know who of you know me or recognize me, but this is me. If I click here on the plus, I can say now that I want to add this person to a group called webinar host. I will change the name here, Carl, and I will add. Okay. I don't get an error, it means that it was a success. And now, if I will go back here, need to refresh it for a second. I will go back and back. You can see here webinar host 1, and if I will open it, we'll see that this is the picture that I just added. Okay, now what you need to understand, I can have more than one NVR. For this example, let's say I had 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 100 NVRs. I can link all of these 100 NVRs to this group, and now any picture or any change I will make on this group will go through all of the NVRs. Okay, it will synchronize the database across the NVRs. The second thing you need to be aware of is that this is only one way at the moment. Okay, it means that if I will add a person from here, from the NVR directly, it will not be added to the CMS. Only the CMS can control this group. You cannot modify this group and expect it to change on the CMS as well. Okay. And now, just for the demonstration, we will take some other people. Say, for example, Yuval. Yuval, I will add him to a webinar. Yuval. Save. I will just run through it. Okay. Yo. Save. I'll take 2 more. Need decent pictures. Okay. Ivan. Webinar. Save. And last, Rivka. Okay, so we added some people. And now, again, if I will go to the NVR, this one it's refresh. So let me go to back here. You see now I have 4 faces here. And these are the 4 faces I just added from the NVR. Okay? So I hope it was clear enough about the database. And of course, the last part, if I delete this database from here, it will also be deleted from the NVR. Okay? So this is also important to know. Okay. Before we go to the Ossia version 1.4.3, any questions about the CMS? Okay, perfect. So let me continue. Okay. Ossia version 1.4.3, as you can see here. Okay. This version is already on the website, but of course, I'm going to show you the DDA. The DDA is not ready yet. I'm sure that all of you are aware of what's happening in China. At the moment, we are predicting delays in all of the supply chain. Of course, I don't know if you're aware, but all the production in China, not only for Provision ISR, but the world is going to feel this. If it's going to prolong this virus, the world is going to feel it from all directions and all merchandise. But at the moment, the Chinese government extended the holiday for 1 more week. So for sure, we will have 1 more week of delay, and then it's not sure yet that this is the final delay. Okay. So version 1.4.3, we have two main improvements. One is the DDA ability, which you can see on the right side already. and I will discuss in a second. And the second, we have done a major change in the face recognition interface. So these are the two things that I'm going to show you today. And that's it. Hopefully, within half an hour, we are done and ready for questions and answers. So, DDA, detect, distinguish, and alert, is going to be based on our new platform, iSight version 2. Also, we will have a new dedicated platform for face recognition and um, and perimeter alert. Okay, both are based with the DDA capabilities. Let's open this camera, for example. You can see here that. Okay, let's explain a little bit about the differences. Up until now, we had analytics, okay, but our analytics were based on a strictly VMD, video motion detection capabilities, meaning that it could only detect the changes of pixels and not really realizing what are those pixels. So, for example, if you are working with sterile area analytics, any change of pixel, it doesn't matter if it's a person, a cat, a mouse, just something, some dirt blowing in the wind, a tree blowing in the wind, everything will trigger the sterile area. With the DDA, the situation is completely different. The DDA can actually distinguish between a person, a human being, a vehicle, and actually all the rest, which means he will ignore. Okay, he only knows the platform knows to detect people and vehicles, two-wheel vehicles and four-wheel vehicles. You can see already here that we have people that are marked with yellow square. I just saw the yellow square here for a second. I didn't even notice that someone was sitting here until the system showed it to me. And except of that, you can see here on the right side, we have the snapshots of the DDA. So we have here, for example, human. I don't know what happened to one of our back cameras. Chris Murphy came and it just got disconnected. Okay, so let's take this camera. Here we have all the vehicles, and you can see here that we don't have any alerts from vehicles. The reason is that the system knows to ignore static vehicles or static objects. So if the person is standing, sitting, not moving, he will not trigger any event here. Only moving objects will be detected and trigger events. Okay. If we want, we can filter what we see here by clicking on settings. And here, what we can see. This is face recognition, okay? Face detection and face recognition. Here we choose, if we want to display face detection plus recognition, for example, this is face detection, meaning we have a detection of face, but we don't have a recognition of the face, and it is displayed. If we chose this option, face recognition only, then in this case, this face wouldn't have been showed here, because we only want recognition, and this is not recognized. These are not recognized. We have the human and the vehicle regarding the DDA. We also have the object box, which is the yellow boxes that you see here. And we have the detection area and object, which is the yellow. You can see now that is red. It's meaning that we have a moving object. Let me close it. Okay, this car just came, moving, and then you can see the surrounding triangle is becoming red. Okay, and you can see the car is being snapped here. This is the car snapshot, and this is the full frame. Okay. So this is the DDA in the main interface. What happens in the behind the scenes? Okay, in the configuration. So when it comes to analytics, now we have joined all the analytics under events. You don't need to go anymore. I don't know if you remember, up to this version, you should have went to the camera settings, enable the analytics, set the analytics on the camera, and then go to the event and set the trigger, the NVR trigger to the analytic event on the event section. So no more. Now everything is in the event, so all you need to go is go to analytics here, and you're here. I'm keeping face detection to the last, face recognition. Let's start with the DDA, okay? So now we have here several cameras. Okay, we have here several cameras, and now the NVR knows how to distinguish between DDA cameras and non-DDA cameras. So if we will take, for example, I want to add another camera. Second. This one camera first. Okay, so line crossing. What I wanted to show you is that right camera. Okay. If you will see, this is an old generation camera, not this is with the old analytics, the old generation camera. And we have, when we set a line here, if I want line crossing, then you can see I can set the line here. But like I said, this is an old generation, so anything crossing this line will trigger the alarm. It doesn't matter if it's a person, if it's a car, if it's a dog, if it's dirt, if it's shadow, if it's light, it will trigger the alarm. If I'm taking the new DDA camera and I set the line, so now I can set the line direction. This was always the case. But the difference is that I can also set this button, the detection object. And now I can say, trigger the alarm when humans, cars, or two-wheel vehicles pass this line. I can say that only when human pass this line, only then trigger the alarm. Okay? And this is very accurate. It drops the false alarms in about 99%. I will not say 100%. I'm very careful with my tongue. I will not say what 100%, but it is extremely accurate. Okay. So same goes for sterile area. The sterile area is the same, but we have sterile area for old cameras, like this one, and we have sterile area for new cameras, like this one. And then again, we have the object the detection object, which object will trigger the alarm, human vehicle or two-wheel vehicle. Okay. And one thing again that I didn't mention is this is the area configuration. What about the trigger configuration? So the trigger configuration is done from here, this icon here, and this is the trigger layout as you know it. It just was in one line, now it's in different groups, but it is basically the same. Okay. Area entry and area exit are also two types of analytics. In the next version is going to be merged together with the sterile area, because actually it's a part of the sterile area. Sterile area means that any motion within the sterile area will trigger the alarm. But we can say the area entry says that only objects coming into the sterile area, the ROI, will trigger the alarm. And the opposite is the area exit, meaning that only objects leaving the ROI will trigger the alarm. And again, objects are only humans, two-wheel vehicle, and four-wheel vehicle. And you will see that for area entry and area exit, the old generation cameras, they don't even appear in the list because they don't support this type of analytics. Object counting is actually replacing our people counting that we had before. Now it is object counting, but still you will see that if we get the old generation cameras, we will still get the old people counting interface. But for new generation cameras, we have the line, okay? And now anything crossing the line from A to B will be counted as coming in, and anything crossing the line from B to A will be counted as going out, okay? And I think this one is worth demonstration. So let me go for the playback interface. And now we'll search for humans, for example. Only from this i6 camera, they don't have records here. If I have something, I don't have records on this device. We will wait for someone to pass. I will demonstrate it in before we finish this webinar. I will go back. Now this one is recording. I think. Sure. Yeah, it is recording. By the time we finish the demonstration, for sure some people will pass here, so I will be able to show you the analytic, how it works. Let's see if we will have a live demonstration. A person coming out, exit, 1008 it was, now it's 1009. Okay? Again, let's see the instant playback. 30 seconds back. Okay, you can see here the exit. We have exit and entrance. Okay, let me see if I can move this thing. Oh, okay. We have entrance and exit. So the exit human 1009. Now it's 8. It was 8. It was 9. Okay. Oh, it will count all the time. This is the much more accurate than the old algorithm. You don't need to install the camera anymore just above the door. You can put it anywhere, but you need to put it where people are passing, okay? Because if a person will just stand here and talk with his friend, whenever they move a little bit front and back, the counter will go up, okay? So it's very important to take care of that. Okay? And basically all the rest is the same. Okay. Now let's go to face recognition. This is where we did the biggest changes. Okay. So face recognition divides to 4. Okay. We have the face detection coming from the IP cameras. Okay. So here you can see the detection. Okay. This tab. You have here 4 tabs related to face recognition. So the first tab is detection. Okay, this is actually face detection from the camera. What we added here, we added the ability to control the area. Okay, I don't know if you remember, but this was very important settings coming for face recognition. It was not available from the NVR, so whenever you had problems with it, you had to go to the camera directly to set it up. Now you can set it from the NVR. And our new generation of face recognition camera will have white LED, not IR LED. It will have white LED, so you will also be able to control the white LED directly from here. Okay? The white LED helps the camera to get a better picture of the face. Here we have the trigger, but remember, this trigger is for face detection, not for face recognition, meaning any faces detected by this camera will trigger these events. So it's not very useful, but still some users are using it and requested to keep it. We have the database management. The database management is exactly like before, no change. It was just moved here. If you remember before, it was in the analytics section, which didn't make a lot of sense. So we moved it to the analytics section. Now this is the important part, or one of the important parts. Here you have all of the cameras, okay, that support face recognition. Okay, the list. You can set for each and every one of them different similarity according to a different group. And why is that? For example, if we say that this camera, front door face, if this camera should open doors for provision ISR employees when they're coming into the office, then for, let's say, webinar host, I will change it to 100% or to 95%. Meaning I don't want any chances that the door will be open by mistake. But if I want this camera just to recognize or to turn on the light or something less significant or less sensitive, I can keep the similarity in 75%. So we have different settings for each one of the cameras. Okay, you can see that I changed the front door face, and only the front door face has changed. The second thing that we added here is enable recognition. And this is very important to understand. Here I have, on this device only, I have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8 cameras supporting face recognition. Now, basically, I can enable face recognition on all of them. Okay, the NVR will not stop me from doing that, but there is a problem. Okay, the problem is that the NVR capability is to recognize up to 180 faces per minute. Okay, it sounds a lot, but if you divide it 60 seconds, it means that the NVR can recognize up to 3 faces per second. Okay, now it's not so much anymore. If I enable 8 cameras to perform recognition, and we have a lot of traffic of people, some of these faces will not be recognized because the NVR capacity is to recognize faces per second. If we have more than 3 faces per second, the rest of the faces will just not be recognized. Okay, so it's not very good. The recommendation is to work with 3 to 4 face recognition cameras active with enabled recognition. But if you know that your site is very scarce on the people movement, it means sometimes someone passes on that camera, sometimes some passes on that camera. There is no limit, physical limit, to enable recognition on all of the cameras. Okay, this is what I wanted to say. And the last part, let's enable recognition on the important cameras. Save. Okay, and the last part, is what's happening. Okay, what are the responses? And this is the most important part to understand. In the old system, when you had face recognition, the trigger was based on a group only, not on the camera, but on a group. So let's say we had a group called Provision ISR. And we say that when someone from Provision ISR comes, you need to open the door. This is how it was in up to version 1.3.4. Now what happens that any camera within the office that recognizes someone from Provision ISR will cause the main door to get open. It doesn't matter if it's in the second floor, on the third floor, on the basement, the main door will open. First of all, it doesn't make sense. And second of all, it's a breach of security. Okay? So we had to change it. So now, when you get the NVR for the first time, this will be empty, like now. You need to add rules. I will show you how to add the rules. First of all, you can add as many rules as you want. I think the limit is 32 or 64. I'm not sure, but it is sufficient for every standard installation. So now I will add 3 groups. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And now I need to set it up. I can say that any camera, we'll choose all of them, and you see here on this list, I don't have the 8 cameras anymore. I only have the camera that I enabled face recognition for. Okay, 4 cameras, not 8. So I'm saying like this. All the cameras, the rule is enabled, recognition is unidentified, meaning if you recognize someone on a 24/7 schedule from the group webinar, I want you to trigger push notification. Now, for all of the 4 groups, 4 cameras, sorry, again enabled. Now, I will change it to unidentified. It meaning if someone passed through the camera detected its face, sent the face to the NVR. The NVR didn't recognize the person. Now the group is not important anymore because you don't know the group. And now the trigger can be alarm out. And we will trigger alarm out 1. Alarm out 1, for example, can lock the door. Okay, this is the door lock for the example. And the last rule is that if the front door face only identify someone from group webinar host, remind you that this is me, then I want the system to open the door using the relay of front door face. Okay, and now we created here 3 rules that covers my requirement. Okay, this is basically it. Now, what's important is that until these rules does not exist, the system will not recognize anyone on the right pane here. Okay, you see that all of them, they are not saying not in the database, not in the database. This is the rule this is part of the rule I created. Okay. Now we will wait for a second. Okay. Let's take this picture. Click on the plus. Add it to allow list 1. Just call it S. Okay. From this point on, you should be recognized. The camera Okay, so you can see him here. Once he will turn his face, should be able to recognize him. Yeah, we will see it in a second. A face. Okay. We will give it a second. We'll come back to it. Okay. The last part is the interface for analytics. In version 1.4.1, we moved face recognition here. Now we also added the DDA. So we have the face recognition. I'm sure all of you are familiar with it. It's exactly the same, okay, like version 1.4.1. What was added is the human vehicle combination, and this is the smart search, which is again exactly the same like all versions. Let's just touch the DDA. So if I want to search for human, I can choose for a camera. Let's take the i6 if we have events. Okay, these are events that we have from the i6 camera. Remind you that this camera is the one that counts people. Okay, so if we'll take this, see the number. Okay, it was very nice. 1110, 1111. You can see here the counter. We caught a nice number. This is another person. Another person. Okay. This person coming out. We'll see the top one, 97, 98. And now this person is coming. We saw him before, 1110. And now this one, 1111. Okay. So this is for human detection. I can also search for human detection in the back DDA of this one. The back DDA is another camera on the back of the office. So you can see here the human detection from the back DDA camera. You can see here that we have some difficult recognitions, okay? See these two people, the distance they are walking. I don't know if you can even see it. Let me open it on a full screen. Okay, these are the two people here that was recognized, okay, by the DDA. As for nighttime, of course, the DDA works also at nighttime, but you need to provide decent light. It cannot work in pitch black, but it works fine also in nighttime. We have the vehicle. So if we want to search for vehicles, we can search. I only have one camera that detects vehicles, so it's not a problem. And you will see that the vehicle is always moving. Okay, there is no instance, no place I will click where the vehicle is not moving. If I click here, okay, you can see moving vehicle. Okay, if I click here, you can see moving vehicle. Okay, if I click here, you can see a moving vehicle. Okay, so this is the DDA for vehicles. And if I want to combine everything together, I can combine, and then I can search, and I will get everything together, all the analytics, face recognition, human detection, vehicle detection. Okay. So again, let me show you the difficult detections. Take this one for example. You can see the person here behind about 6 or 7 glasses here. Okay, he was already detected. Okay. And of course, last but not least, but the mobile app also supports it already. So you can search for people, for vehicles directly from the mobile app. But of course, you need the hardware that supports it in order to perform this type of search. Okay. this is it for today. We had two topics, a little bit heavy, but not too complicated. Um, Now it's the time for you to ask any questions. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm here. Feel free to open your mic, ask anything you want about the CMS, about the Ossia, um, anything that we touched on this presentation, this webinar. This webinar is recorded. We will upload it to YouTube next week, so you can view it again. And of course, the presentation I showed you today is already available for you to download. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice weekend, and we'll be in touch.